Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 221 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and college sports, this is the podcast to be. Got some extensions today, couple crazy few NFL facts, and then we're going to go to NFL Weekly Power Rankings week number 3. So, going on until the regular season ends for the NFL, recordings will be coming out on Tuesdays so I can do my power rankings because some NFL games are on Thursday, we get some Monday, and then we get a bunch on Sunday. And then there comes a time or two where we will get a game on a Friday or a Saturday. All right. Let's get started with the extensions because the extensions are not NFL related. Both of them actually involve Chicago, first and foremost. First off, we got the Chicago Bulls re-signing Josh Giddey. It's a 4-year, $100 million deal. Excuse me. Now, for Bulls fans, they have to be breathing with a sigh of relief because after acquiring him last season from the Oklahoma City Thunder for Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey was one of the best players on the 2024-25 Chicago Bulls team that once again fought for the playoffs. And did they advance? No. So I think re-signing Josh Giddey is an important part to the rebuild. It's going to determine a matter of time who's going to be the true faces of the Chicago Bulls because while they still have Kobe White, who's a really good player, Mateus Bazilus, I apologize if I said it wrong, a rookie who was a huge upgrade last year. They still have Nikola Vucevic. They still have Ayo DeSumo. So we're going to see who's going to be the core players for the Chicago Bulls going further. And I like this move. I think he made it worth every penny, and I think he's going to make it worth every penny. He proved the Bulls that he needed a style of play, and he boosted his offense a little bit. Last season, he averaged 14.6 points per game with 8.1 points rebound per game, 7.2 assists per game in his first full season. He shot 46.5% overall and developing a little bit more of a three-point shot. Now, we're going to see how this pans out for the Bulls. Now, the Chicago Bulls, for those of you that don't know, yes, I'm a diehard Bulls fan, and I'm dead serious, and I've been saying that for the past year. The Chicago Bulls seriously need a direction. Are they going to rebuild? Are they going to contend? Because this whole stuck in the middle tweener land, it's just not going to work. It is that simple. All right, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Josh Giddey extension. You can always let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at BillmanSports, Instagram at BillmanSportsGuy, and here on YouTube at BillmanSportsGuy. All right, this next one involves the Chicago Blackhawks, so Chicago's hockey team. They have re-signed goaltender Spencer Knight to a 3-year deal with an AAV of 5.83 million. Now, he did have a 272 goals against average and a 902 save percentage through 38 games between the Florida Panthers and the Chicago Blackhawks last season. Now, I think Spencer Knight, there's a good chance he's most likely going to be the starter unless something happens otherwise. And I think Chicago is going to see this goaltending duo of Spencer Knight, Andrew Commissaro, because while they still have Laurent Brossoit, who they signed last offseason, signed through this season, but he did not play at all due to knee problems. Is he going to suit a game for the Chicago Blackhawks? That is a to be determined. And I kind of doubt he will with all the knee problems he was having. So I like this for Spencer Knight. I think him and Commissaro will make a really good goaltending duo. And Chicago does have young goaltending duo now, which is great. And let's also not forget they still have Arvid Soderblom, which he was actually pretty solid for the Chicago Blackhawks last season. So I like the signing a lot. Now, there's also good B chance that we're going to see Soderblom and Knight paired up together. And one of them's most likely going to get moved, at least until Drew Commissaro is ready. Unless if Chicago wants to carry 3 goaltenders, which we'll see. So overall, I like this move. I thought Spencer Knight looked promising at the start. Near the end was so-so. So I think he's going to get a lot better with the Chicago Blackhawks. He will now have a full season under his belt, and I like this move a lot. Now on to let's knock two more signings really quick. With the one with the NBA, the New York Knicks have signed guard Malcolm Brogdon to a non-guaranteed one-year contract. Now, had a bit of injury problem last season, and non-guaranteed basically means that he will either be in the NBA or in the G League or a bit of both, but it's not guaranteed that it'll be a one-year deal. Now, he was okay with the Celtics back in 2023, averaged 12.7 points per game, 3.8 point rebounds per game, uh, and 4.1 assists per game in 24 games. And he also had a bit of stint with the Portland Trailblazers. So if he does make the team, which I'm rooting for him, and I hope he will, I think this is a good sign at the end of the day. Next up to the baseball news, Anthony Rizzo, former Major League Baseball first baseman, who played for the San Diego Padres, Chicago Cubs, and the New York Yankees. He was also drafted by Boston, but never stood a game for the Red Sox. Anyway, Rizzo just announced his retirement. He was part of the 2016 Chicago Cubs team and had himself a very, very solid career after 14 seasons. He's a three-time All-Star, 2016 World Series champ, won the Silver Slugger in 2016. He is a four-time Gold Glove first baseman, won the Platinum Glove in 2016. He won the Roberto Clemente Award in 2017. He had over 1,644 hits, 828 OPS career-wise, and 303 career Major League home runs. Hall of Famer? No. Hall of Good? Absolutely. And congratulations to one of the best first basemen to ever play the game of baseball in Anthony Rizzo, and definitely a legend in the city of Chicago. Alrighty, we're now going to go to the fun part. Now, I apologize I don't have an NFL jersey on, but that's okay. And I will have a football jersey on when we get to week 4. So, we are going to do NFL power rankings from week number 3 for week number 3. Okay, at number 32, pretty obvious. These first 3 teams from 32 to 30, it's pretty obvious. First one being the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Sometimes there's a reason why trash talk can come back and get you. The Cleveland Browns did throw a little bit of smack talk against the Baltimore Ravens, and it's safe to say getting destroyed 41-17. Yeah, how did that turn out? They couldn't defend Derrick Henry to save their lives. Lamar Jackson was having a field day against the Baltimore Ravens. And by the way, Joe Flacco, former Baltimore Raven quarterback, you know, threw for 199 yards, so he was 1 yard short of 200. One touchdown, one interception. Yeah, I'm so sorry to all the Cleveland Brown fans, but it's going to be a really long year. I got nothing else to say about them. At number 31, the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints, they kept it close to a 26-21 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. But let's be honest, they don't really have a caliber roster to make the postseason, and it's just going to be a really long year for them. I don't know what else to say about the Saints. It's just not a good year. At number 30, the Tennessee Titans, another team that is rebuilding. Um, Overall, Cam Ward, is he the Pete? Is he the bright future? We'll see, but he'll grow. And I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. 19 for 33, 175 yards, threw a touchdown, but was outdueled by Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. Let's be honest. At number 29, the Chicago Bears. So, To all the Bear fans and to all my friends who are Bear fans out there, are you guys okay? For months, for years, I've been hearing the Bears are going to be really good. The Bears are going to be really good. Oh, this is the year they're going to win the Super Bowl. Oh, they're going to be better than the Green Bay Packers. They're going to be better than the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Commanders, the New York Giants, the Patriots, the 49ers. Yeah. I think I may differ. There is a reason to why I never put myself up high with the Bears. There is a reason why I never believe any Bear fan that tells me they're going to be good. I've said this numerous times about the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to say it again. If you're trying to convince me they're going to be good, well, guess what? I need to see it in order to believe it. And yeah, 30 you lost by 31 points, by the way, to the Detroit Lions. How did that go, Ben Johnson? Caleb Williams was extremely shaky for week number 2. 19 for 30, 207 out of passes, by the way. He completed 19 out of his 30 pass attempts. I wanted to make sure I said that right. Threw for 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he did throw an interception, and he got sacked 4 times to where Tyson Bagnet had to come in. He was 2 for 3. Not bad for Tyson Bagnet. Small sample, but yeah. Same old Bears. And to all the Bear fans that were saying they were going to be really good, where are you guys at now? That's all I got to say. Number 28, funny enough, they stayed the same spot from last week, is the San Francisco New York Giants. I completely almost blew for myself. Okay, it's the New York Giants. Come on now, Bill, man. This isn't Major League Baseball. This is the NFL. All right, New York Giants, number 28. Credit to them. They kept it close against the Dallas Cowboys, but they're just another team where it's just going to be a really long year for the Giants. Russell Wilson, I don't know. Does he have any gas left in the tank? Threw for 3 touchdowns, but got outschooled by Dak Prescott. But both of them did throw an interception. And we'll get to the Cowboys further on in the game. Yeah. And speaking of New York, the New York Jets coming in at number 27. So the Jets not looking pretty. They got destroyed by a really good Buffalo Bills team, lost by 20. And now Justin Fields is out, which is never a good sign. And I hope Justin Fields is okay. Justin Fields went completed 3 of his 11 passes, threw for 27 yards, got sacked 2 times, and he's out with a concussion. So I really hope he's okay. Tyrod Taylor came in. He completed 7 out of his 11 pass attempts. He threw for a touchdown and 1 interception. Yeah, actually, I take that back. Taylor did not throw for an interception, but he did throw for a touchdown. Yeah, not good. The Jets, everybody thought the Jets were going to be better, just like Bears fans thought the Bears were going to be better. Both teams need to get their acts together. And the Jets' next schedule, they're going to be in quite a rude awakening. They're going against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, not looking good to say the least. Coming in at number 26, I have the Carolina Panthers. Sure, I could have ranked the Panthers lower, but the first 3 teams, they're obviously going to be really bad and had a long year. And there were a couple teams that really stunk up the joints. So I think 26 for the Panthers is fair. And credit to them, kept another game where, they kept it close. We'll see how they'll get better. Bryce Young, let's see if he keeps improving because he completed 35 out of his 55 pass attempts, threw for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. They're a young team. It's that simple. So the Panthers, we'll see how they get better. But to me, as a football fan, they're another one of those teams where it's just going to be a long year. They might get slightly better, but not a lot. Yeah. At number 25, the Miami Dolphins. I'll give them credit where credit is due. They, they kept it close against New England Patriots, and hey, they scored more than 8 points. So yeah, give yourselves a pat on the back, Miami Dolphins. But Tua Tagovailoa looked streaky still. Tyreek Hill does not look happy in Miami. What are the Miami Dolphins going to do with Tyreek Hill? That's going to be my biggest question for them in the 2025 season. At number 24, speaking of, the team they lost to, the New England Patriots. Hey, Drake May might be the answer. Patriots, good job. You guys won. And you guys are 500. So kudos to you guys. Drake May, not bad. 19 out of his first 23 pass attempts. threw for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Hey, good job. I'll give him credit. All right. Number 23, just like last week, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, to me, while they did get destroyed by the Chargers, but I believe in Pete Carroll. I think he'll lead the Raiders to the promised land. So there's not a whole lot to say. At number 22, the Houston Texans. Well, they lost by 1 to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I'm going to rank them a lot lower because of the offensive linemen. CJ Stroud, while he completed 13 out of his 24 pass attempts, threw for 207 yards and 1 touchdown. Yeah, it's going to be a long year for the Texans. If the offensive line doesn't get it together, they're going to have a long, miserable year, and they're going to miss the postseason altogether. It's that simple. Number 21, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another team where I'll give them credit. They kept it close against a Cincinnati Bengals team that they're now going to be out for without Joe Burrow. Yikes. But the Jaguars, they're a young team. They're 500. I think we're actually going to see improvement from them this year. I think Travis Hunter, who they drafted in the first round of this year's draft, I think he's going to be a real stud. I still think Trevor Lawrence is the answer. May need to cut down the interceptions a bit. He threw 2, but did throw for 3 touchdowns. So I'm curious to see how much improvement are we going to see the Jaguars. At number 20, the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not completely sold on the Colts. I still have my concerns about them. The $79 million that they threw away, Daniel Jones taking 14 of it out of the $79 million. While he looked fine, but not great. And that's the main reason why I have the Colts lower. I have no hopes for them this year. And yeah, they barely beat Denver, but I still don't think they're going to be that great this year. Number 19, the Minnesota Vikings. Yikes. Talk about a beating. They took a brutal beating from the Atlanta Falcons, 22-6. JJ McCarthy's still young, but he's now out again with another injury. Complete 11 out of his 21 pass attempts, threw for 158 yards, but he threw for 2 interceptions. And Justin Jefferson, he only ran for 81 yards. Yikes. Vikings, another team that they really need to clean it up. It is that simple. At number 18, the Arizona Cardinals. So just like the Colts, another team that I'm just not sold on. Ever since Kyler Murray got into the NFL, the Cardinals have always been, they'll start off to a good start, then they'll choke the second half away. And unless if I can see true improvements from Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, I think I'm just going to keep ranking them around the 20-25 range. Maybe a little bit higher, but depends. At number 17, the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not fully sold on them, but on healthy, When healthy, this team looks dominant. But Brock Purdy, George Kittle, they're both supposed to miss multiple weeks. Mac Jones started for them. Now, the 49ers, they did beat a really bad New Orleans Saints team by 5, but another team that I'm not highly sold on. And that's going to be my main reason why I have them down this low. At number 16, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, if I gotta be brutally honest about Seattle, I think they were fine. Forget my term when I said they're fine. They were great. They destroyed an elderly Pittsburgh Steelers team with Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold basically showed Aaron Rodgers who's boss on the field. Kenneth Walker had a really good game. Seattle's defense, credit to them, they kept the Steelers up to 17 points. So kudos to them. At number 15, at number 15, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I know. They beat the Giants. They barely beat them by 3. I'm aware Dak Prescott had a really good game. The offense showed up. Defense did fine. But still, they fumbled the whole Micah Parsons trade. When Micah Parsons is on the field, he makes a difference. And the Cowboys defense is sure missing Micah Parsons. I could tell you that much. At number 14, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why do I not? There's reasons why I still have them around here. I think they're kind of in the okay range. Aaron Rodgers had a rough game against Seattle. Let's be honest. Jalen Warren, okay. DK Metcalf struggled. And Jalen Ramsey was meh at best. So we'll see about Pittsburgh if they can rebound, which I don't know, because the Steelers have the Patriots. If the Patriots beat the Steelers Sunday, then we might have to raise a red flag on the Steelers. At number 13, the Kansas City Chiefs. So a crazy NFL fact, along with the power rankings, Patrick Mahomes is 0-2. This is the first time he's been 0-2 since his sophomore year in high school. While the Chiefs kept it close, but the Philadelphia Eagles barely got the win against them. Travis Kelce looks like a shell of himself. Patrick Mahomes is okay. I think one of the reasons why the Chiefs are struggling is they are hurt in the wide receiver running back department. Sheer Rice serving a suspension. Xavier Worthy's hurt with a shoulder injury. So there's a possibility people are going to freak out more about the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think rightfully so. At number 12, the Cincinnati Bengals. While good on them that they got the win, but I'm concerned on quarterback-wise with Joe Burrow being out. And, he's expected to miss 3 months, which that is brutal for the Bengals. Jake Browning, backup quarterback who came in for Burrow. Burrow, before he got hurt, completed 7 out of his 13 pass attempts, threw for 76 yards. He did get a touchdown, but he was sacked twice. Jake Browning, 21 out of 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Should the Bengals call Andy Dalton, bring him home? Because I'm concerned about their quarterback depth. If Burrow's going to be out for this long, and if Jake Browning starts to struggle, we're going to find out. These next 3-4 weeks are going to answer our questions about the Bengals. At number 11, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, I'm not going to lie, while they pounced all over the Minnesota Vikings, I low-key think, along with another team that I have up higher on this list, They're going to be sleeper teams for the 2025 season. Michael Penix looked amazing. Offense and defense was super good all around. I urge NFL fans do not sleep on the Falcons. If Michael Penix Jr. keeps it up, could we maybe say Falcons playoffs? It's a possibility. All right, at number 10, the Denver Broncos. Denver barely, they lost a really close game to the Colts, but overall, they got to clean it up. That's just all I got for the Broncos. At number 9, the Washington Commanders. They ran into a dominant Green Bay Packers team with Micah Parsons on defense. The Packers defense with Micah Parsons is awesome. And they gave Jaden Daniels so many problems. They gave the entire Washington Commanders offense nightmares. But Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Jaden Daniels, and he basically took the Washington Commanders to school. At number 8, the Detroit Lions. So, this is week 2, yeah. Anyway, week 1, they got destroyed by the Green Bay Packers. This time, they took their anger out on Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears, and they spoiled his homecoming. Jared Goff, Amara St. Brown, excellent. The whole Lions team was just amazing. They showed the Bears who's the real boss in the NFC North. But they're not the real NFC North boss. I'm going to tell you who's the real team. At number 6, the Los Angeles Rams. I didn't know where to rank them, but credit to the Rams. They looked pretty good. The Rams, they schooled a young Tennessee Titans team, but Matthew Stafford looked good, but if he gets hurt, then what kind of team are the Rams? That's why I feel a little skeptical about the Rams at times. At number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. For the longest time, especially when they were in San Diego, there's a potential chance that this could be one of the best Charger teams in the entire history of the franchise. And they took Pete Carroll to school. Justin Herbert was amazing. Khalil Mack and the defense was awesome. Oh man. The Chargers, watch out for them. They're potentially another sleeper in 2025. And number 4, staying at the same spot as last week, the Baltimore Ravens. They came out and played. They put 41 points on a really bad Cleveland Browns team. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry was all over the Cleveland Browns. And the Bengals together, they are, who do they verse in week 3? Now that I think about it. But the Ravens, you got to give them credit where credit is due. While their next team they verse in week 3 is the Detroit Lions. So that's going to be good competition right there. Lamar Jackson, 19 out of 29, threw for 225 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry, he ran for 23 yards and 11 carries. But still, the Ravens, this potentially is still the Ravens' best team since 2000 when they won the Super Bowl against the New York Giants. Coming in at number 3, I actually had to drop him down by 2 points. The Philadelphia Eagles. While they did get the win, kudos to them, but their previous 2 games, defense gave up around 20-plus points. They gave up 17 to the Kansas City Chiefs, so that's a 5-point improvement from when they gave up 22 to the Dallas Cowboys. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I still think he's going to get the job done. I still think Saquon Barkley, Cooper DeJean, AJ Brown's going to dominate, but why do I have the Eagles at 3? It's because I just think the defense needs to clean it up. At number 2, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is him. Josh Allen is amazing. Josh Allen is a top five quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen, what did he also do? Josh Allen crushed the New York Jets 30 to 10. Josh Allen went 14 for 25 out of the complete pass attempts, threw for 148 yards, did not record a touchdown or an interception. James Cook, Elijah Moore, defense looked really good against the Jets. But at number one, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers with Micah Parsons. What a dominant team they are. Now, they're going to miss Jaden Reed for 6 to 8 weeks, but that's okay because we've had multiple players step up. Jordan Love was awesome. Jordan Love has gotten better and better week after week. Jordan Love completed 19 out of his 31 pass attempts, threw for almost 300 yards, so 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Josh Jacobs ran for 84 yards. Tucker Kraft, he got himself a touchdown. Now, while I would like to see Matthew Gold get a little bit better, but offensively, they're amazing. Defense, they're awesome. Do not sleep on the Packers this year, folks. So, that is my power rankings. And it also concludes today's episode of 221 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and college sports, this is the podcast to be. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at Bill Man Sports, Instagram at Bill Man Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Bill Man Sports Guy. Have a good evening, everybody. Stay tuned for episode number 222. Peace.